Is dinner and drinks in the car in a dark parking lot a bad idea for a first date?
What?
Are you trying to get a DUI?
I know, right? I know.
What? Let's drink and then let me drive you home.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you going to like the drive? What's it called? The drive-in?
Like a drive-in?
Yeah, the drive-in movie theaters.
I does not.
I missed that.
He literally said in a dark place.
Exactly what I just said.
First of all, dark place. What if the girl's afraid of the dark? That's kind of creepy. Halloween literally just passed, dude. Halloween literally just passed.
Well, maybe he's a young guy and he can't afford, so he's
taking her to the drive-in.
His brother got him some beers or whatever, and he's going to take her to the park.
Your brother got some beers.
He should take her to
Some
a
beers
park
and
or
such.
something. Do a
That's
picnic,
even more
but not
creepy now that I'm thinking a dark place in the park at night. Where are you taking her next? The graveyard?
No, he isn't taking her to a park.
I'm fucking scared.
He
of
isn't
this
taking
man.
her to a park. They're like
He's just
parked
taking it-
inside the car. What I was saying is that he should take her to a park at least.
Has he never seen like Son of Sam documentary or like some other cliff something or no?
Oh, they're talking like parking. He wants to go parking with her.
What's parking?
Bottom line is he
Parks
probably
and
lives at
Recreation?
home. I'm thinking he's probably in high school. He lives at home, or he's really young and he doesn't have a place to go, and he's going to take this girl on a date. And so
Make sure that you get pillows for
back
the
in the day, our high school, there were two parks. There was a Gibbons Park, and there was one of our favorites, which was Piss Park. And so all of us high schoolers, that was very common that, one or the other or sometimes both. Like if we went to Gibbons Park and there were too many of us there and we're drinking or whatever, guys and girls are on a date or making out in a car, and it's not like super bright out there because it's kind of like a residential neighborhood, so you have some street lights and stuff, but it can be dimly lit in some of the areas, and that's kind of if you got no place to go to get it on, and the girl, maybe you're in school, it all depends on the level of rapport. And so in a case like that, it was very common for us to go to Piss Park or Gibbons Park and drink or and so because it was well known. But in this case, if like you met her on the internet and you want to pick her up and then take her to a dark park in the middle of nowhere where there's no lights, it's like, that's not going to be a good idea. She's thinking that she's never going to see home again.
Dude, that's what the Cheesecake Factory is for.
So there are special cases like for us because it's, hey, we knew each other. So if you have a lot of rapport and you know this girl, you've known her for a while, you're like, hey, there's this park. It's kind of dark and it's out of the way. There's like one light at the end, and it'd be kind of cool to go out there, maybe put a blanket outside, have some drinks in the grass, watch the moon rise. Maybe a little kissy poo. Maybe a little Spark One Up, a little Bob Marley.
But
see if you got a
if you're a 50-year-old dude and you want to take a girl to a dark parking lot.
I don't know. I just find that to be really weird.
I would just try to
probably somebody
open the door
loses
and
their
roll
parents.
out.
That's what I'm thinking.
Just roll out of the car. I don't care what speed you're going.
I had a guy.
Parents or not, bring the person home.
I had a guy that wrote in a few years ago that was a musician, and he loved music, and he lived out of his car. And he was living his purpose, and so he would go in busy areas and set up his guitar and pull out his guitar case, and he'd have his guitar, and he would just sit out and play, and girls would come up and they throw money, and he would talk to them, flirt and tease them in between sets and stuff like that. And he got a bunch of dates, and if I remember right, he was a virgin. And so one of the girls that came up and listened to him play, and he was shooting the shit for a couple of hours or whatever, ended up getting her number, and then he picked her up. They went on a date, and he went to a park and had sex with her in the back seat. And it was like I remember telling you, it was like a marathon. It was like 2 hours they were having sex in the back seat of his car. It was his first time ever, and he was ready for it. He took it seriously. He read the book a ton of times, and he was just an absolute smooth Jedi master with the material. He did what I suggested in the video, how men could have multiple orgasms. So even if he blew his wad early, it didn't matter because the meat missile was strong like bull. And so, he gave her a really good time in the back seat of his car that he lived out of, and he was living the life of a struggling rock star. And which, obviously she loved about it. He's on the street, basically, in a nice area, living his dream, playing music and living off tips, basically. And just getting better, getting his playlist going, continuing to write, continuing to perform. So he did what he loved all day long. He played guitar. He made money off of it. He lived out of his car. His only bill was like his cell phone bill and gas, and then obviously whatever food. And it was a great. I don't know whatever happened to him, but it was a great experience. I think it was a newsletter that I got. But so it doesn't matter. It's all the vibe that you give off and the level of rapport. In this case, he talked to the girl hung out there for like an hour until he was done playing, and then I think they went somewhere, had a coffee or whatever, and then he took her out a few days later, and brown chicken, brown cow.